Can a DUI affect your DACA benefits, your work permit? Can a DUI have any impact on your immigration status at all? In this video, we're going to answer some of those questions. Hi everyone, Attorney Joe McPeak with Virtuoso Criminal and DUI Lawyers. In this video, we're going to talk about whether a DUI can affect you if you are a benefit of Deferred Action of Childhood Arrivals, also known as DACA, or if you have a work permit as a non-citizen with a permit to illegally work in the United States. DACA is a discretionary program, meaning nobody's ever really entitled to it. It's discretionary up to the government to give or not give. It was extended, it was created so that a lot of people who came to this country unlawfully, but maybe unlawfully because their parents were crossing the border at a certain time and they've otherwise been here for a while, can still have some sort of legal status. Basically, if you're only here because you came here at a certain young age, you get the benefit of some sort of legal status so you don't risk deportation. Again, though, DACA is discretionary. The government can either give it or not give it to you, even if you feel like your situation matches the same situation as other people who get it. One important thing to know is that DUIs are particularly dangerous for somebody who is here on a grant of DACA. The reason why is because for people who benefit from DACA, you can't get it and you can't renew it if you are found guilty of something called a significant misdemeanor. And unfortunately, driving under the influence counts as a so-called significant misdemeanor, which would then result in the revocation of DACA if you have it, or it would stop you from getting DACA if you're already eligible. It's always important in every criminal case, including DUIs, just not do anything that admits guilt early on in the stages of the investigation. So I always tell people, if you're stopped for DUI, don't answer any questions. If the police are going to arrest you, they're going to arrest you, but don't answer any questions. Hold the line and say, I'm not answering any questions. I don't want to participate in any field sobriety tests. That's what I advise all people to do. And if they get arrested, then so be it. We can deal with it later, and at least you haven't made any admissions. This is particularly important if when you're being arrested, you're also here on DACA or some other kind of immigration status, because not only you're going to have to deal with the wrath of the criminal justice system, you also have to deal with the complications that immigration might deal with you as your case progresses and when it's done. Will the result of your case stop you from getting some type of immigration status? Will the result of your case cause you to get deported? I always tell people, judges in our criminal courts don't have any jurisdiction to actually deport you or revoke status. But what happens in that case will have a very big impact on whether or not you can renew status, obtain status, or whether or not you can avoid deportation or not. So if you're being arrested or investigated, it's really important to have both a criminal defense attorney and an immigration attorney when dealing with a DUI, so that those two attorneys can coordinate with each other. This is because California law states that prosecutors must consider a defendant's collateral immigration consequences when negotiating a case, as long as that defendant is okay with their team sharing that information. What ultimately ends up happening, though, is that in order for prosecutors to feel comfortable considering your collateral immigration consequences, for example, if I get convicted of a DUI, I'm going to lose my DACA status, so can I please get my charge reduced to something like a wet reckless, which does not count as significant misdemeanor under DACA, for example. They usually want to hear that expert analysis from another outside attorney who specializes in immigration law. This can create some strange situations where it seems like all the lawyers are talking about things they already know, but it is the type of proceeding that the state of California law often leads to when it comes to discussing immigration consequences in the context of a criminal case. And ultimately it benefits a lot of our clients, so you have that to know as well. The important thing is you need to have an attorney who coordinates very carefully with both your DMV and criminal defense, along with whatever you have going on in immigration. You want to make sure your attorney takes into account not only the issues the government have in proving your case, but also the ties you have with the community, what you've done to stay in the community, and how and why it's important that you keep your immigration status here to keep living in the only country you may have ever known as home, especially if you're here on the benefit of DACA, which you might lose the benefit of and maybe risk deportation based on what some people might consider a simple technicality, being convicted of a DUI as opposed to a related offense like wet reckless. A DUI arrest does not automatically result in the revocation of DACA, but it's important that the case is handled properly afterwards, because like I said earlier, if you get convicted of a DUI, you will lose the benefits of DACA, and you need to think to yourself whether do you have another route to status you might be able to pursue? Is there a way to preserve your DACA benefits instead? We defend clients who speak Spanish, who speak languages other than English. We represent clients who hold the benefits of DACA or work permits. If you have a DUI arrest, please call us as soon as possible so we can help protect your future.